Welcome to this edition of the SKNIS Week in Review. It's a roundup of the highlights of government-related activities and programs that have taken place over the past week. In this program, we focus on the period March 16th to the 22nd. Coming up, Federation observes World Water Day, new options announced for the CBI program, and Defense Force Commander receives Queen's Commission. The details to these and more are ahead. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Jacqueline Bryan. The Water Department joined the rest of the world in observing World Water Day, which is observed on March 22nd. The day is used to focus on the importance of fresh water and to advocate for the sustainable management of freshwater resources. This year's theme was Nature for Water. It was meant to encourage all members of the global community to consider how floods, droughts, and water pollution could be reduced. In an address to mark the occasion, Minister of Public Infrastructure with responsibility for the Water Department, the Honorable Ian Patches-Liburd, explained that the theme suggested that the solutions to such challenges could be found in nature.
Nature-based solutions have the potential to solve many of our water challenges. We need to do so much more with green infrastructure and harmonize it with grey infrastructure wherever possible. Damaged ecosystems affect the quantity and quality of water available for human consumption.
Minister of Public Infrastructure with responsibility for the Water Department, the Honorable Ian Patches-Liburd. As part of activities to promote World Water Day and the significance of fresh water, water engineer and manager of the St. Kitts Water Services Department, Denison Paul, appeared on the SKNIS Working for You program. He spoke of the quality of tap water on the island and assured the public that it was just as safe to drink as bottled water. In fact, according to Mr. Paul, it's the better option.
And when we chlorinate the water supply, what we do, we kill all of the contaminants, the microorganisms in that body of water. And what we do, we have what we call a residual. A little bit extra, you know what that is for? When it's traveling along the pipeline. When you drink from a dirty glass, that extra chlorine is supposed to handle that. If you leave your water outside, your bottled water outside, and for some reason it gets contaminated by something flying into it, that chlorine will take care of that.
Water engineer and manager of the St. Kitts Water Services Department, Denison Paul. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis announced plans to introduce 2 new options to the Citizenship by Investment program. The announcement was made as the Hurricane Relief Fund, which is a temporary investment option under the country's Citizenship by Investment program, is set to expire at the end of March. In a national address on March 20th, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, described the Hurricane Relief Fund as a highly successful initiative. But the end is drawing near. So Dr. Harris said that the new fund, to be called the Sustainable Growth Fund, will be launched as its successor.
The Sustainable Growth Fund for a single applicant will require a contribution of US $150,000 inclusive of government fees. The contribution for a family of up to 4 will be US $195,000 following incremental steps.
Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris. St. Paul's was the latest community to have the Explorers Movement establish a group there. The St. Paul's Explorers Group was launched at the St. Paul's Primary School, where the leaders and members have been meeting regularly. It is the third of its kind, with the Malfield Explorers and the Shadwell Explorers having been launched in 2017. The initiative is a part of the Ministry of National Security's Crime Reduction and Prevention Strategy and Social Intervention Program. The groups are being created and implemented through a partnership with the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. Principal of the St. Paul's Primary School, Mr. John Gums, said that he believes that children were in need of after-school activities, and he thanked the ministry and the police for bringing the program to the area.
This group of students that are here with us today, we want to make a difference in their lives. And so we are very happy and we are very pleased for programs such as what Dr. Chaitan brings to our school, and that we can call on Officer Percival and other persons to come in and to help us suggest and address some of the problems that we are facing here at our school. This program that has been launched presently, I consider to be an icing on the cake, as this, I believe, through the efforts of all who involved, will help to keep our children on that right path. No more of our children will be committing crimes, getting involved in illegal activities, and doing the illegal and wrong things. The support that this program provides will be the support that they need in order to make them to be good civic citizens and help them stay the straight and narrow path and develop into good, decent young people.
Principal of the St. Paul's Primary School, John Gums. Coordinator of the Explorer Movement and founder of the Malville Explorers Group, Inspector Rosemary Isles Joseph, handing over the group to Sergeant Ricardo Sampson, who will oversee its activities. Joseph Anthony Comrie officially received the presentation of the Queen's Commission as he was appointed to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel of the St. Kitts Nevis Defence Force at a ceremony held at Government House on March 20th. The appointment was administered by the Governor-General, His Excellency Sir Tapley Seaton, who extended greetings to the new commander, Anthony Comrie. Sir Tapley outlined what would be expected of him.
I do hereby command all such officers and soldiers to obey you as their superior officer, and you to observe and follow such orders and directions as from time to time you shall receive from me or any of your superior officers in pursuance of the trust hereby reposed in you.
Governor-General, His Excellency Sir Tapley Seaton. About 26 countries are expected to participate in Tradewinds 2018, which is a multinational and multidimensional maritime, internal security and disaster relief operation in the Caribbean. It will be held in St. Kitts and Nevis from June 4th to the 12th. Captain Coyote Sutton of the St. Kitts Nevis Defence Force is the lead planner for Tradewinds 2018. Tradewinds is a chairman of the Joint Chiefs Directed annual exercise, which is sponsored by the U.S. Southern Command. It is conducted in cooperation with Caribbean Basin partner nations. Captain Sutton noted that it is usually broken down into two phases. The first phase will be held in St. Kitts, while the second phase is slated for the Bahamas from June 13th to the 26th.
And the main focus of the training this year, and for phase 1 and for phase 2, is going to be IS focused, strictly internal security. That is what we'll be concentrating on, because most of the Caribbean islands are faced with security challenges, internal security challenges, so we're basing it on that.
Captain Coyote Sutton of the St. Kitts Nevis Defence Force. Senior management at the St. Kitts and Nevis Customs and Excise Department is in strong support of the advancement of all workers through training, especially junior officers. The department is tasked with managing the security and integrity of the country's borders. As such, enabling officers to carry out the responsibility of the organization, which is to protect the country from potential risks arising from international trade and travel, while facilitating the legitimate movement of people and goods across borders, was deemed critically important. One such initiative of promoting advancement is the recently concluded 12th Annual Caribbean Customs Law Enforcement Council's Junior Officers Basic Training Course. 28 junior officers from the St. Kitts and Nevis Customs and Excise Department and 2 from Her Majesty's Customs and Excise Department in Montserrat participated in the intense 8-week training course. Diane Henderson Phipps, Senior Customs Officer, Grade 4, stated that the training of officers is important, not just to the department, but to the country on a whole.
The principal objectives of this undertaking were to impart customs knowledge through information and to create a learning environment that demonstrates techniques which will enable our junior officers to improve their ability to handle challenges in practical customs situations.
Diane Henderson Phipps, who is a Grade 4 Senior Customs Officer with the Customs and Excise Department. And that concludes this edition of the Week in Review. I was your presenter, Jacqueline Bryan, and I hope you enjoyed the program and will join us next time.
Stay up to date with news, programs, and activities of the government with SKNIS. Like us on Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud. Follow us on Twitter. And watch our videos on YouTube. Connect with us today. SKNIS, St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service.